So today we will be discussing on leadership, a very interesting topic because there is always a debate all over the globe whether leaders are born or leaders can be made. While entering university campus, you must have seen Mohran Mahindra Leadership Institute. Infosys also has Leadership Institute in Bangalore. So many big companies, they are now having their own leadership institutes, which means that these organizations believe that leaders can be made. Leaders are born or made. This debate will go on. But the world cannot wait till the leaders are born. The organizations cannot wait till they get born to lead people. Because you have to run the organization. And when you have to run the organization, you must have people who can lead the organization and the other people. And so you cannot wait that let the person is born as a leader and he will come and he will do all the things. You cannot do that. So you can make the leaders. You can groom people like to become the leaders. And therefore, in recent times, most of the big organizations, they have very intense leadership training programs. Of course, they identify people from their organization who have that potential to become the leader. So the person must have potential to become leader. That is okay. But then you can polish the person to become leader. Like, you have diamonds. When the diamonds are taken away from the mines, they don't have any shine. It's like any other stone. But from all those stones which are taken from the mine, experts select certain stones which can be polished and which can become diamonds. Isn't it? Likewise, from the organization, those you have in the organization, the top management or the senior management people, they select those people who can be polished to become leaders. And so leadership training is at most important for anyone. Because though we say that leaders are born, for example, but we are all human beings. So one day or the other, the born leader has to die, isn't it? Has to retire. He may become incapable of doing things. Then what? So you must have succession plan. There must be next generation or next order ready to take the place of that leader. You cannot say that now that leader has gone, so everything is gone. Show must go on. That is what we say. And when we say show must go on, it means that you have to have good leaders to lead the organization. So Tatas have a history of 100 years, for example, or Kirloskars, they have a history of 100 years. For example, Jamshedji Tata was a great personality, great leader. But after him, there has to be somebody who will take up the same position in the same shoes and lead the group. Then only the group survives. Because you cannot depend, you cannot rely on one person. You don't know what is going to happen next moment. And so you must have the second order ready to take up the position of the first leader. And therefore, and when there is a leadership vacuum in the organization doesn't stand. And so every organization, why this Mahindra and Infosys, they are having these leadership institutes because they don't want to create that vacuum. You know, people may leave also. Your top leader may leave also. The managing director leaves the company. Then what happens? There is nobody to take the position of MD. Then how that organization will run? So there are all possibilities, and therefore leadership training has become very important. See, earlier, before industrial revolution, or even after industrial revolution, for some years, people believed that leaders are born. But as the organization started becoming bigger and bigger, and the need for more and more leaders emerged, then organizations realized that it is true that leaders are born, but many people have the potential to become a leader in future, to take up that position. And so for them, it is necessary to have some training program, some polishing activity, so that the person can emerge as an effective leader. So leadership, definition of leadership is, every author gives a different definition. Henry Truman, former American president, he has defined the leadership. Henry Truman was the president of America during Second World War. So he said that leadership is the ability to get men, women to do what they don't like to do and like it. Very interesting definition. So people may not liking certain things to do, but a leader, a true leader is one who has the ability to make people work and like it also. It's not only make people work. Half part is make people work. But if the people don't like it, then they may not put all their efforts into that work. They may not put their soul into the work, as I can tell you. And so it's not only what is the leader, a true leader according to him is one who has this ability that he makes the people work and make them to like that work also. That is true leader. So a leader influences people. Leader influences people so that they do the work willingly towards the achievement of the goal. So why do the work? To do the work is for achievement of the goal. And therefore, there are three parts. One is ability or influencing power of the leader. For what? For people to do the work willingly, even if they don't like it, to do the work willingly. And the third part is this is done in order to achieve the desired. So, whatever are the corporate goals or organization goals, those have to be achieved, and they can be achieved only when people work enthusiastically and people work willingly. A person may be, his skill set may be unquestioned. He may be very intelligent. But if he is not willing to work, you will not get the result. That is you. And so, willingly and enthusiastically working on the job. And for that, influencing the people. That is leadership. So, the leader should influence or encourage people to create willingness to do that work. And not only do that work, but do that work with confidence. Do that work enthusiastically. It's not only that they have to do the work. They have to do the work willingly, enthusiastically, and with confidence that I can do this. Now, this is what is leadership. This influencing power is what is, or this ability is leadership. So, leaders help the group to achieve the goals by applying maximum capabilities what they have. But remember, all managers are not leaders and all leaders are not managers. Both the things are. Sachin Tendulkar not proved as a good leader. Good example. So, all managers are not leaders and all leaders are not managers. Managing is something different. It is organizing the resources and all those things. Leadership is influence. Leadership is that the person must have that power. The person must have that ability to influence people. So, just because a manager is given certain formal authority, that does not mean that the person becomes a leader. So, role of a manager and role of a leader are different. And therefore, managers are required to give leadership training. I believe that you must have given leadership training before you. So, in every organization, managers, the role of a manager, functions of a manager, the person may be doing very well, but he may not be a good leader. And therefore, it is necessary that the leaders, the managers, even though they enjoy the formal authority, they need training to become leaders. So leaders can emerge from the group also. I mean, you have so many people in the organization. Kalam in his book, he has said that a true leader is one who first does it and then talks about it. Sets the example as to how you should work. And so, setting the example, doing it before you tell others, that is important. Because you can influence people only when people know that this person can do it and he has shown that he can do it. Then only you can influence. Otherwise, no. And so, all the organizations, they need strong leadership. And for this, leadership training is a must. Leaders, the first very important quality of leader is he looks into the future. Shivaji Maharaj was a true leader. We learn Shivaji Maharaj just disappeared as a man. We don't learn him really. He was a true leader. He could see the future. He could see the establishment of independent country. He could see that, his vision, but selling that vision to common man is very difficult. And particularly the era in which he was, how selflessly he worked, how hard he worked, how he communicated with people. Everything is the best leadership lessons, you can say. And so they see the future. They are visionary people. And therefore, they inspire the organization members and they chart the course of action for those. ISRO, for example, establishment of ISRO. India is an independent country, and that time, America, Russia, though they were our friends, they were not ready to give us space technology. So we were denied. And though they denied us this technology, we decided that we must have our own space research institute. And Homi Bhabha was given the knowledge. And see what he has done, what miracle he has done. It takes time. It's not overnight. An organization like ISRO cannot emerge in 1 or 2 years. It emerges over a year, 50 years, 70 years. It emerges. It takes. And therefore, you will find that these are the people. Homi Bhabha knew that when ISRO will come as a full-fledged and it will start its own research being so in a very big way, and they can go to moon also. He very well knew that till that time I will not be there. Unfortunately, he died in a plane crash. But he laid the path for the organization. What is important is, now for the present organization people, what is important is, in ISRO what is important is, to tell the stories of Homi Bhabha so that people get inspired. So leaders must envision the future. And another important thing is, leaders must instill values in the organization. Quality, for example, is a value. Whether you are concerned for quality, you have to take calculated risk. For example, just how this value system, quality as a value system, how we are not instilling in our people. You see the road that we are. When that road was under construction, those bardans were laid on the road because it was big and needed. Now the road is complete. Whether those people have removed all those bardans, no, they are still on the road. Nobody is bothered about it. What is the quality of it? Do you think this is good quality? Do you think it? But nobody is bothered. Neither the government, nor the government. Nobody is bothered about it. So, quality as a value, whatever small thing you do, maybe for your personal work, whatever small thing you do it with quality. That is quality as a value system.
₹500 रोज आहे, फक्त 70 फेक कॉल लावा लागते या नंबर न. आता सकाळी फोन आला त्याचा नंबर दिले दुसरा तुमच्या बंधू लावा.
काय करा,
पहिले 10 कॉल लावा, ₹500 घ्या, मग बाकीचे 60 लावा.
बाकीचे 60 लावा नका.
नाही लावाच लागतो, दुसऱ्या दिवशी येणार नाही ना
मग कसं करायचं.
लावतो काय तू?
नाही, मी माझा नंबर धोक्यात नाही टाकत. लिडरशिप कुठून घेतला रे बाई ना.
दीदी ते
So first is they are visionary. Second thing is they should instill value system. Give just one example. There can be n number of customer service, for example. Is a value system. Are we caring for customers? Value system. Ethics. Do you follow ethical practices when you are in So this value system. And therefore you will find that शिवाजी महाराजांचं आपण कल्याणची स्मृतीचं फक्त ऐकतो उदाहरण दॅट इज इन्स्टिल व्हॅल्यूज कशी व्हॅल्यू इन्स्टिल केली की हाऊ यू लुक ॲट द वुमन हू कम्स टू यू ॲज अ रेग्युलर यू रिस्पेक्ट हर as a woman, as an individual, as a human being. Now, this value system becomes very, very important. And therefore, if the group has to perform with its total capacity, then it will all depend on the quality of it. So we can see that there are 4 major characteristics of a leader. The ability to use power effectively in a responsible way. There is a very famous saying by Mark Twain that you give a person power, he becomes corrupt. And you give absolute power, the person becomes absolutely corrupt. And that is the real test, whether the person is true leader or not. Because power is to be used in a responsible way. Power is not given to a person to exploit others. Power is given in order to get that work done in a more effective way. And so the leader must have the ability to use power effectively in a responsible way. The leader must know that every individual has different motivating forces in different situations. We have seen motivation, we have seen. So every human being has different motivating forces at different times and in different situations. Today my motivating factor may be different. Evening when I go home, my motivating factor may be different. So today morning every day I took a different route for my morning. Today I went to Goda Park. I sat there for half an hour looking at the river, birds and all those things. And I thought that this is my motivating factor and I should come here every day. It motivates me for the whole day. So in different situations you have different motivating forces. In different times you have different motivating. And the leader is one who understands this. Right now, what this person needs. The person wants to eat something or drink water, and you are giving him a lecture on morality. No. You give him water first. Because he needs that. That time, the motivating factor for that person is a glass of water. It may be as simple as that. So, the leader is one, must have the ability to understand that every individual has different motivating forces at different times and in different situations. Then another ability is to inspire. This is the most important. Can you inspire? Can the leader inspire people? So people should look at the person and they should get inspired. I have to be like him or her. Or I have to do my work like him or her. Walk the talk. So whatever, as I have said, that when the leader can inspire others, when he or she himself or herself is doing that in that way, then you can inspire. So inspiring the ability to inspire people is the biggest characteristic of a good leader. The ability to act in a manner that will develop a climate conducive to responding to and arousing motivation. So, creating a work-friendly environment in an organization. Leader is not just shouting and threatening and all those things. That is not it. So, conducive work environment. Are you able to create that conducive work environment where people feel free to work, feel willing to work without any pressure? Now, if the person is all the time scared that if I make a mistake, my boss will fire me, he will make 100 mistakes. And so, without any pressure, without any such force, the work environment in the department, maybe in the organization, must be created in such a way that people feel free, motivated to do the work. So these are the 4 abilities which a leader must have. Now there are various approaches to leadership. Prior to 49, the leadership traits were identified. The first theory was great man theory, as it is called. Leaders are born and not made, as I said, that initially in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, it was believed that leaders are made and they are born and they are not made. So, who is a king? He is born in that particular family, so he is a king, isn't it? In the Greek and Roman, and even in Indian monastery or majesty, this was a practice. Because the person has taken birth in a royal family, naturally he is a king and he is the leader. So that great man theory was there. They focus on the personal characteristics of the person. So what are those traits? They are called as traits. What are those personal characteristics which have been identified? So, honesty, integrity, self-confidence, including emotional stability. Those were included as traits. But honesty is there. Even though you are a king, you must be honest. You must have integrity. You must have compassion for your people. You must be emotionally stable in times of difficulty as well. And so, understanding of, again, if we come to the business, that the person must understand the business, what business he or she is into. Logic, rationale behind that. And so, achievement, motivation, energy, ambition, initiative, honesty, integrity, all these were included as traits of leadership. So, even though it was a royal family, as I said, great man theory, that because the person has taken birth in a royal family, he or she becomes the king or queen automatically by birth, born leaders. But even for born leaders, these characteristics were identified. These traits were there. If you see Netflix, on Netflix there is The Crown. The serial is The Crown. Old serial. It is on Queen Elizabeth. And you see that serial. And the person who, next person who has to be crowned as a king or a queen, he was given proper training for honesty, integrity, confidence, energy, understanding the business understanding, who are my people, what I have to do for them, and what I have to achieve. So this training is given, and then how she is groomed to be the good. So this is important. And therefore, great approach of leadership believes in great man theory, but still they give all these, they identify all these characteristics or abilities, we can say, for the leader. Then another theory is the Big Five framework theory. Now it comes from the trait theory only. So more related to leaders emerge than it is related to their effectiveness. So how the leaders, Big Five framework theory more focuses on effectiveness of leaders. So which can help, what can help them to become as a leader? So certain situations and people become more extravagant and they become the leader. Agreeableness, emotional stability. Only do not come as leadership traits. Openness to experience is very important. Whether the leaders are open to new experience, that is very important. Especially if you have to find or if you have to make the leaders effective. So openness to experience is important. Emotional intelligence is the recently identified trait that is very necessary for leadership, for any person to become a leader. Now, what is emotional intelligence? The core part of emotional intelligence is empathy. And so, are you empathetic for people? Can you understand, sense the needs of the people? Listen to your followers, what they want to say, and read the reactions of the people. So, emotional intelligence, the core component is empathy. A leader has to be emotionally intelligent person. He has to or she has to understand what are the needs of my followers, my subordinates, what they need. If there is a police commissioner, he must understand the need that my people need a fan in their office. If I don't understand this basic need or a good toilet, if I don't understand this, then I'm not a good leader. I may have authority as a commissioner. Even the principal of the college, for example, he may be the principal, he may be a manager, he may be doing all those, but he cannot be a leader unless he understands what are the needs of my people, my students, my teachers, what are their needs, what they say, what the followers have to say. And if something is being told, what is their reaction? And so it is necessary that the leaders are emotionally intelligent. So we offer two conclusions. One, we can say trait can predict the leadership. Who can become the leader? So one person who is very honest, integrity is there, achievement motivation is there. So we can predict that the person has a potential to become a leader. But trait theory does not distinguish between effective and ineffective. Who is effective leader and who is ineffective? That difference trait theory does not make. They don't fully explain leadership therefore. So, what makes a leader effective? That is not explained by trait theory. The trait theory only tells us these are the characteristics, and you can predict whether the person who is possessing these characteristics can become a leader. But after becoming a leader, whether he is effective or ineffective, that and how he can become successful leader, that is not being given in the trait theory. Okay. And therefore, the limitation of the trait theory was this. And so, the next theories were developed, and those are called as behavioral theory. The trait theory provides a basis for the behavioral theories. And the trait theory provides a basis for selecting people to become the leader. So you can apply those characteristics and identify people from your organization who have that potential to become a leader. Now, what next? What is to be done? How to train those people to become the leader, and that is behavioral. You have selected 10 people from your organization who can become the leader, future leaders. Now, what to do with them? So, train them. Now, this behavioral theory, it has emerged out of one study that was done, and that is Ohio State Studies in USA, which sought to identify independent dimensions of leadership. So, what this study did, they identified certain dimensions of leader behavior. So, initially, more than 1,000 dimensions were identified. Then they were narrowed down to two that substantially accounted for most of the leadership behavior described by employees. See, from 1,000 they have come to 2. So, now what they did, they prepared a questionnaire that was circulated among the company, organization. They got the responses from the employees, and they were asked that in their leader what they are looking for, what qualities they are looking for. So they got all those replies, and from all those replies, they narrowed down dimensions only to 2 factors. And those 2 factors are initiating structure and consideration. Now, what is initiating structure? Initiating structure is the ability or the extent to which the leader defines and structures his or her role and those of subordinates. Role clarity. Whether the leader is able to make clear-cut dimension of his role as a leader and the roles of the followers. It includes the behavior that attempts to organize the work, achieve the goals, relationships among the leader and the follower and among the followers. A person who has a high score on initiating structure sets definite standards of performance and emphasizes deadlines. So in initiating structure, particular tasks are assigned, clear-cut roles are assigned to the followers, deadlines are given, and definite standards of performance are set. So, this kind of leaders, they are more of a task-oriented leaders. They want work to be done as per the set standard of quality or performance. So, initiating structure mainly is the ability of a person, ability of the leader to clarify the rules, first of all. Assign those work to the followers and give them clear-cut instructions about their role to be performed, about the performance that is expected, and the deadlines which are given for them for achieving that particular goal. So this is initiating structure. Second quality that was narrated or studied was consideration. Now, consideration mainly is the relationship dimension. Mutual trust, for example, whether the leader is able to create a mutual trust between the leader and the followers and among the followers. Respect for employees' ideas. Whether the leader, it is no matter that you are a leader, but that does not mean that any other person cannot have a good idea. So respecting the ideas and giving respect to their feelings. These are very important characteristics, abilities for a leader. So consideration mainly talks about relationship. So the person who has very high scores, questionnaires are given as I said, and the person who has very high score on consideration is a leader who knows the personal problems of the employees, is friendly and approachable, treats all employees as equal, and expresses appreciation and support. So he is more people oriented. In initiating structure, we said he is more task oriented. Here, in consideration parameter, he is more people oriented. He tries to understand what are the personal problems of the employees so that he can help them out. So they are relieved from their personal problems and they can concentrate more on work. And therefore, he is friendly, he is approachable. So he appreciates people, he supports them. And therefore, these are the parameters or consideration. These are the characteristics of consideration. Most of the people would like to work such type of leaders. Everyone would like to work with this kind of leaders. And so you will find that this Olio experiment, this one which was done, and they found out these two parameters, initiating structure and consideration. So the study found that leaders in high consideration succeeded best where in countries where value did not favor a unilateral decision making. So in certain countries, unilateral decision making is not a value system. All participative decision making. In those countries, high consideration score people, they succeed. They are, as I said, that initiating structure leaders, they are task oriented. And therefore, more so in an autocratic manner or in an autocratic type of environment, they succeed. For example, even today, when I talk to many people around me, literate, working on a very doctors, engineers, and so-called, even they today say that Indian people need a autocratic leader. What value system do you have? Why do you need an autocratic leader? You cannot participate in decision making. So, what is the value? So, we are supposed to be. This is people have taken it for granted that we need a person who can rule us. So, are we of that type of people? Think over it, because this is a crucial time, we need to think about. Many people, even today, when I talk to people and when I try to convince them, they say, "नहीं नहीं आशा, आपल्या लोकांची लायकीच नाही, त्यांना असंच मानतो." छड़ी नंबर से मुझे ऐसा मालूम है, छड़ी नंबर से। So, in general, research indicates that there is a validity for both trait and behavioral theory. Some leaders may have high traits or display right behavior, and still it is not. Of course, these theories may be there, but these are related to human beings, and therefore you cannot have 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So, even though people may have all these things, still they may fail. That is also there. So, leadership is human beings. And then the next generation theory was contingency theory. So, why this contingency theory was advocated? Because there were some leaders who were found that they took over the struggling companies and lead them out of crisis. And therefore, that gave rise to contingency theory. That there are people who take those companies which are in trouble and they not only bring them out of that trouble, but they make that company a shining star. Can you give some example? Ratan Tata was never a company which was struggling. It was always, Tata Group was always a very high effective group.
Because I heard 1 or 2 interviews from JRD, which he gave the impression, but it was not a complete company, but sister concerns.
Yeah. So maybe out of total group, some companies may be struggling, and some leaders they take the company out of that crisis and they make it a shining star. But it is, as I said, it is very difficult. What makes a leader successful? Very difficult because this all relates to human aspect. But every company tries to find out heroes who can bring the company out of crisis. So leaders can put the company into deep crisis, and leaders can bring also the company from the crisis and make it a shining star. Both examples are there. So it is not necessary that leadership style that worked in a particular time will also work in some other time. It is not necessary. Or it is not necessary that for the short-term period, for few years, the leader was successful, but he may not be successful in the long term. So, Fred Fiedler gave the contingency theory, and he said that under condition A, leadership style X would be appropriate, whereas style Y would be more suitable for condition B and style Z for condition C. So, 2 variables we are taking, leadership style and condition. So, condition A, style X, condition style Y, condition B, and style Z, condition C. But what is A, B, and C condition? So that was explained in this model by isolating situational variables. So, Fred Fiedler developed the first contingency theory model for leadership. This model proposes that group performance depends on proper match between the leader's style and the degree to which the situation gives leader the control. So there are 2 variables. One is what leadership style one should adopt. It's not standardized that leadership style is like that and all the time you follow the same leadership style. No, You have to change your leadership style according to the situation. So, in situations which give leader control, how the leadership style should be, and otherwise how it should be. The least preferred co-worker questionnaire was given. This study was done, research was done by Pidla. And while doing the research, he prepared one questionnaire, least preferred co-worker questionnaire. So, the terminology itself explains, least preferred co-worker identifies whether a person is task-oriented or relationship-oriented by asking respondent to think of all co-workers they have ever had and describe the way they enjoy working with them. So, the questionnaire was given asking them to describe whether they enjoyed working with their co-workers or not. This was LPC was given. If you say, if the worker or if the person says that, yes, I enjoyed, that is very high LPC score, you are relationship oriented then. Because see, those people who are relationship oriented, they will not find out many ifs and buts in describing other people. So then the person is relationship oriented. And if your score is low, then you are a task oriented person. So now this LPC questionnaire needs to be seen by you so that you understand this in a better way. So this LPC, that is least preferred co-worker questionnaire, it was given and people were asked whether they enjoyed working with a particular leader or particular co-worker. After finding a score, a fit must be found between organizational situation and the leadership style for there to be effective. So, what is the situation? Most of the employees, they have very low LPC score, which means that they are not relationship oriented, they are not happy working with each other. Now, what kind of leadership style you must have in such a situation? That the person has to. Or people are too much relationship oriented and they are neglecting the task and the productivity. What leadership style one must have? So, situation will decide what leadership style the person should adopt. So he said that the situations or contingencies can have three dimensions. Leader-member relationship. So leader and the followers, how they are related with each other? It is the degree of confidence, trust, respect that the members have in their leader. That is leader-member relationship. Task structure is the degree to which job assignments are regimented, that is structured or unstructured. Whether the tasks are regimented. Regimented means clear cut, it's a military word. So in military, clear cut instructions are given. The person is not expected to use his brain. He has to just follow the order, that's it. Regimentation. So task oriented, task structure is the degree to which. So whether the company or the organization has this kind of a structure. And position power. Whether the leader has position power, just like for example, whether he has the power to hire the people, fire the people, discipline the people, promotion, salary increase. Whether the leader has this power position is also important. So, the leader will decide his style of leadership depending on these three dimensions. How far there is a mutual trust between the leader and the members. How far the task structure is regimented or unstructured, whatever it is. And how far the leader enjoys the position power. Whether he has power uh, to hire, fire, discipline, promotions, salary increase. See, earlier there was it's not only in organizations, Earlier, for MBA program, every institute was now in Open University, the university is free to admit the students. But now in other institutes, we have to admit the students as per the score and as per the DT norms and all those things. We have no control. I don't know which students will come to my institute. I have no control over that. Earlier, I used to have control over that because I selected the students for my institute. So the major difference that now position power, for example, as a leader, I don't have position power as far as admitting the students. So I have to take the lot as is given to me by the DTE, by the government. Now, there was a long debate on this, initially when this was started. Actually, this started in 1998, I think, as the number of institutes increased. Till 1998, I was free to admit the students based on the parameters which we fixed at the institute level. We screened the students and we decided which 60 students should be admitted. Intake was 60 only, and we used to receive applications around 1,500. And out of 1,500, I had to select 60. But it was my privilege, it was my power. But now what is happening after 1998 or 99? What happened? Many institutes, but then common entrance test and all those things came, and then as per the ranking and the students have to give all those things are there. So at present, what is there? I don't know which students will come to me. No, I don't have position power. When I don't have position power in that sense, then many of the institutes, they said that don't compare us with IIMs because they have the privilege to select their students and we don't have. You gave me students, I don't know what quality students you are giving. So, position power. Now, if the person is not free, is not given power to recruit his people, and the top management says that we will recruit all the people. So, you give me peanuts and you expect me to give the highest productivity. That is the conflict in many organizations. That whether for my department, as a leader of that department, I am free to recruit. I'm free to discipline those people. I'm free to give them promotion or salary increases if they perform well. So that is position power. So these three dimensions are there. According to this model, higher the task structure, the more procedures are added and stronger the position power, the more control the leader has. So when you are task oriented, then more procedures are added because you have to give minute details about what the person has to do. So more procedures are there, and when the power position is there, then the leader has more control. So this is how the pillar model works, contingency model. Initially that was supported, but the model hasn't been studied much in recent times. Nowadays, this model is not being very much in limelight. Now, this is the most important contribution, the managerial lead. Now, this model is even today accepted. You have the figure in your book. You can refer to that figure. I have not shown that figure here because it is already in your book. I'll just explain you that. So Blake and Mountain, they developed this model, managerial green. This was of course developed on the previous models, but this model seems to be clever device, or this model seems to be has wide acceptance. And this is accepted throughout the world as a means of training managers and understanding various combinations of leadership styles. Now, you see that figure in your book. It has two dimensions. On the x-axis, horizontal axis, there is concern for production. And on the y-axis, vertical, there is concern for people. So basically what we have seen in the earlier models, two dimensions are important. One, relationship, and another is task. So on the same ground, Blake and Mountain, they have developed this model. So on the horizontal axis, you measure concern for production, and on the vertical axis, you measure concern for people. Now, concern for, what is the meaning of this term, concern for? It means that how managers are concerned for production or how they are concerned about people. So, how much production they are able to get out of a group. So, concern for production, for example, includes attitude of supervisor toward a variety of things such as quality policy, decision, procedure, processes, creativeness of research, work efficiency, volume of output. So, what concern for production? You mean volume of production? You mean quality of supervision? You mean quality of production? You mean processes which are carried out? So, concern for production includes all these things. Concern for people, it is interpreted in a very broad way, includes such things as degree of personal commitment towards goal, how far the leader is committed to those goals, maintenance of self-esteem of workers, placement of responsibility on the basis of trust rather than obedience. There is a difference. So whether there is trust or people only follow your instructions because they are just obedient. Good working conditions, satisfying interpersonal relations. Now all these things are included in concern for people. So these two concepts you must understand very clearly: concern for production and concern for people. Now, look at the model in your book. Look at the model. And you find that extreme left down, extreme left down. 1-1 leadership. This type is known as impoverished management, which means that these types of leaders are neither concerned with people nor they are concerned with production. And they have minimal involvement in their job. So they themselves do not have any commitment for the job. And therefore, the leadership style is called as impoverished management style. No concern for production. Whatever is going on, let it go. That is the attitude. Whether the production meets the desired standards, they are not bothered. Whether people are happy, they are not bothered. So one style is 1-1 style. At the other extreme, there is 9-9 style, extreme right. In your model, extreme right corner, 9-9. Correct? Now, 9-9. Highest possible dedication to both people and production. Highest possible dedication to both people and production. These are the real team managers who are able to meet the production needs and also who are able to meet the needs of the individuals. So this is the most ideal leadership style. 9-9 leaders. These are team managers. First is empowered. These are team managers. So they meet the production needs also, and they have highest concern for production and highest concern for people, both. Now, 1-9 down, extreme right. 1-9. These are country club managers. They are called as country club managers. They have highest concern for people. They will make people happy, but they are not at all concerned with production. Goody, everything is fine. They will make people happy so that people will praise them, but they will not promote an environment in which people would work. And so they promote environment, everyone is relaxed, happy, but no one is concerned putting in efforts to meet the production goals. So this is country club management. It is called as club management. So you come here for enjoy, just like that. So production, no concern for production. Another extreme is 9-1 managers. Extreme left, top. 9-1 managers. These are task managers or autocratic managers. They have highest concern for production, but no concern for people, or least concern for people. They are autocratic in style, and they would always tell their people, I won't listen. I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to listen to any. I don't want to listen to any anything, any excuses that you are giving. Whether they are genuine or not, he is not ready to listen at all. And therefore, he is completely autocratic person. And so he is a task manager or a autocratic manager. This is another style. Now, these are 4 extremes. In that model, you will find that these are the 4 extremes: 1-9, 9-9, 9-1, and 1-9. These are 4 extreme styles for concern for production and concern for people. But this model says that there are managers, there are leaders who settle somewhere in between. 5-5 managers. They have medium concern for production and also for people. So they will balance both production and people. They will obtain adequate but not outstanding production and not outstanding relationships also. They will not set very high goals and are likely to have a rather benevolently autocratic attitude toward people. So they are not very friendly also, they are not approachable, but at the same time, they will have diplomacy, as we can say. And so 5-5 managers. So most of the managers, they settle at this. Most of the leaders, they settle at this. So this managerial grid is a useful device for identifying and classifying managerial style, but does not tell us why a manager falls into one part or other part of the grid. To determine the reason why a person is impoverished management or why a person is adopting a medium style of leadership. Now, this reason, in order to understand this reason, you must know the underlying causes for that, such as personality characteristics of the leader or the followers, the ability of training managers, the enterprise environment, and other situational factors. So, why a person becomes impoverished leader, why he adopts that particular style? Maybe the work environment may not be good. The top management's attitude towards the leaders, they don't give much power and they are not given proper training. So the person becomes an impoverished person. And so there may be underlying causes why a person is adopting a particular leadership style or not adopting a particular leadership style. So this is managerial greed, which is very common and which is very much accepted. Now another theory which is given by Kurt Lewin is, he says that there are three leadership styles. One is authoritarian, autocratic, as we have seen. That autocratic leaders they will not listen to their followers at all. They will give all the decisions, they will articulate all the jobs, and they will say, I want this. That's it. There are participative leaders who will call when there is a decision to be taken, they will call a meeting of the followers. They will put the problem before them. They will discuss the problem. They will ask the suggestions. They may take the decision what they want, but they will see to it that it becomes a participative decision. So this is another style of leadership. The third style of leadership is delegate. So a delegating leader, he may give authority and responsibility to his followers to do a work, perform a particular work. He will not interfere. And he gives complete freedom to the follower to perform that work and achieve the result. So, according to Kurt Lewin, these are the three styles of leadership. Now, which style of leadership a person will follow? That will again depend on the personal characteristics of the leader, of the followers, work environment, situations which come up. At times you have to be autocratic, at times you have to be participative, at times you have to be delegating. So it's a combination of all. You cannot, a leader cannot have, there are leaders who are all the time autocratic. There are leaders who are all the time participating leaders. But most of the situations, most of the cases, a leader chooses the style of leadership according to the situation and according to the work environment that is prevailing in the organization. And according to, of course, his own personal characteristics and what kind of followers he or she has. So there are no watertight compartments as such, but Kurt Lewin says that the leader may have these three kinds of styles. Now comes the situational theory. Marcel Blanchard, his theory focuses more on followers. It says that successful leadership depends on selecting the right leadership style contingent on followers' maturity. So how are the followers? Who are the followers? If the followers are well educated, they are very capable of taking the decisions, then delegation style may work or participative style may work. But if the followers are not so well educated and they are not capable of taking the decision, maybe autocratic will work. So the theory proposes 4 leadership styles. One is telling, autocratic leader. A directive behavior and leader tells people exactly what is to be done. Followers maybe unable to do that work or maybe unwilling to do that work. So telling is just asking the person to do the work. Whether the person is capable, the person may say that I am unable to do this work, but leader would say nothing doing, you have to do it. Or the person may be unwilling to do the work. But then training is a complete autocratic leader. Selling. Leader provides both support and direction. In first, he just tells and he doesn't listen to the follower. In the second, what he does, he sells that idea, he sells that decision to the follower. And he selling means what? He says that I'll support you. Even if you are not capable of doing it, I will support you in doing that work. I'll give all the directions to do that work, but do this. Here, the followers are unable, but they are willing to do. They may not have that capacity or that skill to do the work, but then they will say that, okay, my leader is ready to support me, give me direction, so I will do that work. So this is selling. This is selling the idea. Participating, as we have seen. Leader acts as a facilitator, involving followers in decision making, where followers are able to do the work, but at times unwilling to do. Because if you are participating in the decision making, you take the responsibility of that decision also. Right? So maybe followers may say that decision making is your job, why we should do it. So they are capable of doing it, but they may be unwilling to do this. And last is delegating. Complete delegation of that work, where the followers are able also and willing also. So what kind of followers you have, that will decide the leadership style. If the leader or if the followers are able and willing also to do the work, then delegating will work. If the followers are able but unwilling, participation may work. Participative style of leadership may work. The followers may be unable, they may not have that skill to do that work, but they are willing to learn the new skill. Then selling is the style. And when the followers are both unable to work and unwilling to work, then adapt. So, this theory, situational theory, says that what kind of leadership style a leader should adopt will depend upon what kind of followers he or she has. Okay, so this is situational theory. Then another theory is developed by Robert House. This is path goal theory. The theory suggests that it is the leader's job to provide followers with information, support, and other resources necessary to achieve the goals. So here in this theory, in earlier theory, we have seen followers, focus was on followers. Here the focus is again on leaders. So it is the leader's job to provide all the resources, support, necessary information to the followers to achieve the goal. So why this is known as path goal theory? Because leaders clarify followers' path to their work goals and make their journey easier by reducing the difficulties or roadblocks, as we can call it. So the leader has to see to it that the followers achieve the goal without any difficulty, so that and he removes all those roadblocks. And therefore, this is known as the path goal theory. So effective leaders are those who clarify the followers how to reach to the goal, the path to the goal. So if the task is assigned and a goal is given, then how to reach that goal? So you have to sell 100 units, for example, in 1 month. Goal is given, 100 units are to be sold to a salesperson, for example. You have to sell 100 units. Goal is given. Now, the leader, the marketing manager, will also give him, clarify him, how he can do that. And give him all the resources. So if you have to sell 100 units, then you have to travel. How you will travel? So make his travel more comfortable. See to it that he faces minimum difficulties of stay or all those things. See to it that he is given proper presentation so that he can show that to the customers about the product, or leaflets are given, for example, explaining the use of that particular product. So all these are the roadblocks which may come in the way of achieving that goal, but those are removed by the leader so that the follower can achieve the. So the theory predicts the following. Again, leadership styles are given. Directive leadership yields greater employee satisfaction when tasks are ambiguous and stressful than when they are highly structured and well laid down. So, selling 100 units of that particular product is a stressful job. So, in this directive leadership, so the leader gives all the directions as to how he can sell those 100 units, where this goal is set, and how to reach that goal. Supportive leadership results in employee performance and satisfaction. When employees are performing structured tasks, not only giving direction, but even supporting. So you give me a call anytime and I'll be there for you. I'll guide you in your difficulty. So this is supportive leadership. Not only giving direction that you go to this side, meet these customers. This is giving direction, but supporting. In case you face any difficulty, I am there to solve. Give me just a call away from you. Supportive leadership. This increases the employee performance also and employee satisfaction also. Directive leadership is likely to be perceived as redundant among employees with high ability or considerable experience. So when you have, who are your followers? A very highly experienced salesperson is there. Then he may not need your direction or support. He knows how to sell 100 units because he has that experience. And therefore, directive leadership may become redundant that time. And so, supportive leadership becomes more sensible, we can say. Now, another important concept in leadership is charismatic leaders. Charisma is really charismatic leaders. Max Weber defined charisma word derived from the Greek word gift as a certain quality of an individual personality by virtue of which he or she is set apart from ordinary people and treated as endowed with supernatural, superhuman, or least specifically exceptional powers or qualities. So, who is a charismatic leader? People feel that he has those kind of qualities which are gifted qualities. So, these are Lata Mangeshkar, for example, charismatic leader in the field of music. So, because such individual qualities are there which set aside her from other singers. These are charismatic leaders. But these people are not accessible to ordinary people. And they are regarded as of divine origin many times. And on the basis of them, the individual concerned is treated as a leader. She was not having any official power as such. But People accepted her as a leader in music field. Was there any official power given to her? But those in music field, they accepted her as a, they treated her as a leader, and Saraswati Ma and whatnot. So what we did? Divine origin. So people think that they are of divine origin. So she is Saraswati Ma. According to charismatic leadership theory, followers attribute heroic or extraordinary leadership abilities and tend to give the leaders power. So such people are given all the powers blindly by people, by the followers. You can have many of such leaders in India. Lot many. Ramdev Baba. So many. So they are heroic or extraordinary people by abilities, as people feel that, and therefore they give them power. No official power is there. Whether Ramdev Baba possesses any official power? No. But still, he is considered as a leader in the field of yoga. Question is, are charismatic leaders born or bred? Yes and yes. Individuals are born with personality traits that make them more charismatic. Rajneesh, for example, a charismatic leader. They are more likely to be emotionally stable. So, these characteristics of leader behavior are there, and therefore they are successful. Research indicates that charismatic leadership is not only the province of world leaders, all of us can develop within our own limitations a more charismatic leadership style. So, researchers believe that every individual has that particular capacity. Nature has given that capacity. Only thing is that we do not bring out and we do not work on that potential that every individual has. And few of them they work on that, and therefore they become charismatic leaders. Winston Churchill, for example, was a charismatic leader during the World War II. British people world over, all the people accepted him as a leader of the world, and in the next election, he was ruined completely by British people. So charismatic leaders, that aura of charisma, use your passion as a catalyst for generating enthusiasm. So these people use that aura for generating enthusiasm. They speak in animated voice. They don't speak in normal voice, Experienced? Every day you are listening to this animated voice. Reinforce your message with your eye contact and facial expression. Bring out potential in followers by tapping into their emotions and create a bond that inspires them. Ram, म्हटलं की सांगतो. Kind of plus Ram. Yeah. Bond that inspires. भारतातल्या लोकांना राम म्हटलं की रामच म्हणायची वेळ येते. So these are the charismatic leaders. What are the key characteristics? They have vision and articulation. भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त भारत. Vision. That proposes better future than present. Actually, आणि मग काय तुमच्या प्रत्येकाच्या खात्यात 1.5 लाख रुपये येतील. अंडरस्टँडेबल टू अदर्स. ऍक्च्युअली म्हणजे काय, तुमच्या खात्यात 1.5 लाख रुपये येतील. हे कळलं ना पटकन सगळ्यांना. So you got it. Even the illiterate person got it. Understood that I get 1,50,000 rupees in my account. Personal risk. So in order to achieve that vision, they take a lot of risk. Sensitivity to follower need, perceptive about others' abilities and responsive to their needs and feelings. What Indian people need? Lot of tempers. Give them tempers. So that is your need. Unconventional behavior. So, संसदेवरती साष्टांग नमस्कार घालणे. Unconventional. कुठल्या पंतप्रधानांनी घातलं? साष्टांग नमस्कार. Unconventional behavior. So these are charismatic needs, correct. But there is dark side to charismatic leaders. Unfortunately, charismatic leaders who are larger than life don't necessarily act in the best interest of their organizations. Many times, they become larger than life. They become so big. की ते मोठे आणि राम छोटा होतो. बरोबर आहे ना? ते मोठे आणि राम छोटा आहे. So, larger than life. And then they don't work for the interest of the people or of the organization. Many charismatic but corrupt leaders have allowed their personal goals to override the goals of the organization. As I said, give absolute power, the person becomes absolutely corrupt. So, charismatic leaders, people give them absolute powers, the followers give them absolute powers, and therefore they become absolutely corrupt. If charismatic leaders are in power, then that power can be used for good and for ill. So it depends on the person whether he is using Mahatma Gandhi, for example, charismatic, but used his power for good, not for ill. Gandhi was also a charismatic leader. He sold that idea of independence to people. And so he was a charismatic leader. But he used that power, which was Gandhi never enjoyed any official power as such. But he had all the powers. Mahatma Gandhi can be a good example for this. He had all the powers. And he is accepted even today as a charismatic leader all over the world. All the countries they respect and they accept Mahatma Gandhi as leader. Power was used for good, and therefore, even today, he is accepted as a charismatic leader. But if that power, which is given to the charismatic leader by the people, is used for the ill, for the personal goals, achievement of personal goals, then and depriving the people for their interests or their goals, then the charismatic leaders can become dangerous. It is not that charismatic leaders isn't effective. Overall, it is. But charismatic leaders always is not the answer. Success depends to some extent on the situation and on the leader's vision and on the organizational checks and balances in place to monitor the outcome. So even though charismatic leaders are there, there has to be some checks and balances so that the charismatic leaders, they are able to use that power for the betterment of the people. But म्हणतात ना शिवाजी जन्माला यावं पण शेजारच्या. Mahatma Gandhi was the only one. After that, no Mahatma Gandhi. No Gandhi was born like that. Even his children are not like that. So, charismatic leader, it cannot always be the answer. Can you wait for charismatic leader to come and save us from the situation? No. Even in the organization, we cannot say that to save the organization, some charismatic leader should come. From where the person will come? And so, everyone has to develop, understand the inner strength. Everyone has, and develop that inner strength to become that kind of a leader. Then another kind of leadership is transformational leadership. Now, Mahatma Gandhi, rather than charismatic leader, he was more of a transformational leader. He wanted to transform the mindset of the Indian people in the sense that in those days, Indian people believed that they are born to live in to be the slaves of Britishers. That was the mindset. Now, to change that mindset from slavery to independence, this transformation of mindset was necessary. And that was done by Mahatma Gandhi. And therefore, more than charisma, he was a transformation leader. They have act as a role model, develop, mentor develop or mentor their followers, having a profound and extraordinary effect on them. So he sold the idea that you also can be an independent country. Otherwise, 150 years and even before that, we very strongly believe that India is the country which is to be ruled by others. That was what Shivaji Maharaj did in his era, Mahatma Gandhi did in this era. A very dark side, Lokmanya Tilak, for example. So these are the people who are transformational leaders. Mahatma Gandhi, for example. Agarwal, for example. So these are the people who are called as transformational leaders. When people believe that girls should not be educated, they should not work, Mahatma Phule came forward to tell that no, girls also can learn and they also can work equally good as men. Now this was a transformation of thinking, and that was done by these social leaders, and therefore they are called as transformational. They are the role models. Even today we say that they are the role models. And so transformational leaders and their teams and organizations perform well and can have extraordinary effect on their followers. So maybe an organization which is earlier not very sensitive about quality, now becomes a very sensitive about quality. Now this transformation of the organization is to be done by the leaders. They have to instill that value why quality is so important. And therefore, from that mindset to this mindset, this transformation, it is not easy. It is not easy because these are humans. And so this transformation, I have given you examples from the social work area, but in an organization also, the people in the organization, they are not used to participative style of management. Now, to make them participation or make them participate in the decision making process, this is also transformation. And therefore, in organizations also, job satisfaction, motivation, or creativity, for all these, the transformation is necessary. And the leaders or the in the organization who make this transformation, they are the transformational leadership. The transformational leadership works is that it inspires and motivates the followers. So they don't just direct the followers, they inspire them. Why thousands and crores of people were on the road when Mahatma Gandhi said that we have to take up a rally? They were not bothered whether Britishers will put them in the jail or not. They just were on the road because they could be motivated and inspired. And so you will find that this inspiration and motivation to be given by the transformational leadership to change this mindset is important. Transformational leaders may also be more effective when the leaders can interact directly with the workforce to make So what Mahatma Gandhi did, he directly talked to the people, not through someone else. He directly talked to the people. In an organization, if the production manager, instead of talking to his supervisors and then telling them to talk to the workers, if the production manager himself goes and talks on the floor and goes and talks to the workers, it makes a different impact. So, direct contact with the followers is very, very important, and therefore transformational leadership. Now, transformational leadership versus charismatic leadership. Some common traits are there, as I told you, Mahatma Gandhi as charismatic leader and Mahatma Gandhi as transformational leaders. Common traits are there. He was given power by people without asking or no official power, but still he was regarded as a leader. So people thought that his God was come to us to save us. So divine, this was given. But at the same time, he has the trait of transformational leader also. He could talk directly to the people. He could sell that idea of independence to all the people. He could make the people, inspire people to come on the road. So common traits are there, but there are differences. Charismatic leaders emphasize on the way leaders communicate, while transformational leaders more focus on what they communicate. There is a difference. How they communicate. So, charismatic leader will make it more dramatic, attractive to sell that particular idea. But transformational leader will more focus on the content, what they are communicating. So Gandhiji focused on what he is communicating. He was communicating about independence. So rather than how it is communicated, the way it is communicated, more emphasis is given on the content, what is to be communicated. But both of them, they inspire followers. So charismatic leaders and transformation. But you need more transformational leaders who can change, and that change in the attitude is forever. So, as I have given you the examples, like Lukman, for example, or Mahatma, for example, these are the transformational leaders. They focused more on the content. And that particular message and the impact of that message is seen for a long period. So these are transformational leaders and charismatic. So with this, we end the presentation on leadership.